Hello everyone, you're all right. My name is Emily Jane Rooney and I am sitting here on my sofa with you and I'm doing my show Big Girl, but this is the sofa edition. Welcome. Hello. I've currently I'm just hotboxing myself because it's bloody boiling and my neighbours have decided they wanted to do a party because I live on a very busy street in London, so it's really great. Yeah, we're doing it, aren't we? We're doing it on the sofa and we're doing it indoors. Yeah, let's have it. Do you know what I mean? This isn't where I wanted it to be. I wish we were in a theatre and I wish we were doing this and we were together, and I wish I was in front of you, but obviously, you know, we can't have that, and I hope everyone is staying safe. Hope everyone's all right. Yeah, Big Girl is what I'm about to do for you. It's going to be very different, and we're going through this together because obviously it's stand-up comedy, it's poetry, it's movement. I don't have a very big living room. I also find it really hard to do stand-up comedy to just my phone. So yes, we're doing this together. I'm on a journey, you're on a journey. We're doing this together. So yeah, let's have it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna try not flash you. I also always do Big Girl when I'm normally wearing pyjamas, but I thought that would be quite inappropriate because I like the fact that it's inappropriate in a theatre. But I also think it would be appropriate for being on the sofa, so I thought I'd best get dressed up because I love breaking taboos. That was a wink. There it is, there it is.
Big girl, fat girl. Just like Marmite, she's a hit and miss girl. Perfectly plump. Don't worry, she's just a dumb girl. She's thick with 2 C's. Let your hair down, girl. Have another drink and come back to mine, girl. You're so different, girl. Don't give me that shit, girl. Just like all the other fat girls, you remind me of Dawn French, girl. Well, I'm just being me, girls.
Yes, well, I'm Emily Jane Rooney. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Essex. I fucking love jam, and I'm a fat woman. Yes. And I know what people think. There's you know, that sort of classic when people are like, oh my God, don't say that about yourself, sweetheart. You are beautiful. You are perfectly plump. You're just the way you are. You wouldn't be you if you weren't fat. That's a classic one. And also, you get other people that are like, here we fucking go. Another fatty, talking about being fat and not doing anything about it. And that's more the negative side to it, you know, that I hope people don't think like that, but sometimes people do. And I'm here today to talk to you about how fat is positive. Yes, yes. This is the movement I'm trying to push. I'm with it. I'm on it. And I like to think that. I like to think that this, how this is now, it's positive. It's a good time. I'll give you a little example. So you know when your mum comes into you and she's got a picture up on her Facebook. Her glasses are like this way down her face. And she's like, have you seen this? Have you seen it? Have you seen Jackie? She's in Tenerife. Doesn't she look amazing? And she's like just liking it about 8 times because she can't zoom in. She's like, doesn't Jackie look amazing? It's that Weight Watchers there. Jackie looks fantastic on those Weight Watchers. But I want it to be like this. I want people to be like, have you seen that picture of Emily? Those jeans are so tight. I love it. She looks fantastic. She looks like she's been eating good, mama. That is what I want. That is how I want it. And it's something like, I didn't always think like this. Like, trust me, I'm 23 years old. It is a constant, everyday practice. But I used to think the way I looked was horrible. And I used to think it was bad. And I have this vision of me when I was about 9, and I'm in BHS, and I don't know if anyone remembers BHS, RIP BHS. it went downhill. Like at least, I can't even be that long ago. It went downhill. And in BHS, they used to have this Tammy Girl section. So it was like a lot of gingham, a lot of like tartan in different colours, but it was between the ages of 6 to 16. And me and my mum were in there and had these little gingham trousers on. And I was at that age where I was like, I don't need you, mum. Okay, you don't need to come in there with me. Okay? And I like went into the changing room. I'm on my own and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, okay, right. And I'm doing this up. I'm doing the trousers up, and they would not go past my knees. And I just remember like walking out into the little seating area, and I was just like, Mum, like, why don't the trousers fit me? And they're for 16-year-olds. And that was the problem. That was the first time retail fucked me over, and I was 9, and I still remember it today. And I remember looking at my mum's face, and she had that look that now I have friends that are parents. I see that look, and it's like, shit. What do I say? And she was just like, you are big and strong. You are big and strong. That's right. You are not as strong as the other girls. So here we go. So we're already getting this. I'm getting a bit of positive in my head, but I'm also think I'm elite. I'm walking around primary school like, you are tiny, you are not strong enough, I am the biggest and I am the best. That is what I thought as I'm like walking around, and my summer dress is like so tight round me. But I was like, well, I'm strong, so show me how my buttons are almost bursting open. Show me. That was what I was like as a kid. And then I went to secondary school, and it's like children start walking to school on their own, and they just become pricks. They get this sense of independence, and where they're like, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about you because I'm 12. Yeah. Well, I'm in science, and I'm sitting there one day, and I'm just being me, just being 14-year-old Emily Jane, and I'm just like this. And this guy that I was sitting next to, he was like kind of cool. He was my friend, but he was kind of cool. And his name was Mitchell. Yeah. And he was like, he had that hair that like Harry Styles had. So where it's like this, you know, it's like that, and they like flick it, they like throw it about, and it's like this. And he was like, Emily, I've got something to tell you, actually. I've been thinking. And at this moment he said that, I was like, here we go, everyone. Here we go, everyone. He's finally realised. He's finally realised his full potential with me, how I'm going to excel him as a human, how I'm going to make him better, how me and him are going to be, I can't even think of any good couples. We're going to be Brad and Angelina. We are going to be Prince William and Kate. I can't think of anyone else. We're going to be, I can't even think. But that was what I was thinking in my head. I was like, yes, come with it. What do you have to say to me, Mitchell? And then he went, so I was thinking, yeah, like if it was all about personality, you'd be a 10 out of 10. I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew it. Come for me then. This is it now. Me and you together forever. I've already texted me, Mum, you're coming round for dinner and we'll make the wedding arrangements. This is what I'm thinking in my head. And he just looks at me and he goes, but the thing is, it's not all about personality, so I'd probably say, I don't know, you're like a 4. Okay, 4. So 4. So, obviously I was a 10, so 6, that's 6 down. Because of, I'm guessing it's about my, a 4, a fucking 4. I was fuming. I'm still fuming to this day. I would never let it go. And that day I fucking walked home from school and I was raging. I didn't meet my mates at the gate. I went all the way home and I walked into my bedroom and I looked at that fucking curvy mirror from fucking IKEA and I said to myself, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Look at this. If you didn't look like this, this face, this baldy, you'd be great. You'd be a fucking 10 out of 10. You're a 4. You're disgusting. Why was I saying that to myself when I was 14 years old? I've got so many more things wrong with me than this. And I was so upset, and bless my poor mother. She walks into the room, she's like, "You all right, sweetheart? Do you want anything?" And I was livid. I grabbed my Dream Matte mousse off the side. I fucking flung it at her, and I was like, "The only reason I look like this, for God's sake, it's just not fair that I'm like this." What the fuck? Okay, so here we go. I'm giving you some key parts in my discovery to body positivity, right? And I'm saying to myself, like, this is just not cool. And I think I discovered this sort of, you know, the Fat is Positive campaign a few years ago, and all the shit that they get for it is just obesity. Like, obesity is killing the children. Obesity, everybody needs to do this. You need to be like this, you need to be like this. Blah, 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 blah. It is intense. It is so intense. And do you know how they fight it? Do you want to know? They get Jamie Oliver in. They get him in to take away turkey Twizzlers and do a programme on Channel 4 about getting the sugar tax. Right, I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm going to tell you how I feel about that. So imagine this, right? When I'm in Nando's and I'm going out for a meal, and, you know, I go up to the counter and I'm preparing myself to get myself a nice little halloumi, a little mushroom halloumi wrap, and I'm standing there and I ask him, and I ask this young boy at the counter, I say, "Can I have a lemonade, please?" And he says, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, yeah. He knows that I'm going for a Coke. He knows that I'm going to go up to that dispenser and I'm going to get out a Coke from the dispenser, and I'm sitting there for the whole of my meal in absolute anxiety. That, my friends, is not fine dining. And I'm angry, and I'm annoyed that I have to hide myself like that in a Nando's where I should be able to do what I want and be who I want to be, and I can't. I have to be a liar. The sugar tax is fucked. Do you know what I think, right? I honestly think that none of us are healthy. Because we're not. My brother's mate, right, he was in the army. He was like the fittest person you ever see in your life, right? He goes out one day for a run wearing Lycra and he dies. That's horrible. That's horrible. And rest in peace. But I wouldn't be dead, oh, pardon the pun, wearing Lycra. No. Imagine it. Oh, bless his soul. I feel sorry for him. Honest. And me and an old housemate of mine, when I was at university, we used to have chats like this all the time because she was stunning. She was absolutely beautiful. She had like she had that body. So you know when you're on Facebook, right, and you see the like videos of people like dancing and they're like like, do you know what I mean? They're like in the mirrors. It's like street dance. She has one of those bodies, like lovely, like hourglass figure, right? So we used to live with each other. We used to get up at the same time. And I used to get up in the morning. I used to whisk up a little bit like spinach, some eggs, and a bit of granary. You know, I'm having my coffee. I'm having a good time. And she'd come downstairs, right? She'd pop like at least 6, maybe, I want to say 5 on an average, slices of white fat bread in the toaster, smothered with Nutella, and a bowl, like a cereal bowl of chocolate milk. Okay. She used to eat like a 7-year-old whose parents have left them alone for the weekend. Honest to God, that's what she had every day. And she looked like this, and I look like this, right? All of this, all up in this, okay? And I used to be jealous. It used to get me angry. It did. It used to get me, I used to be so annoyed by it. I used to be like, why? Why can she do that and I can't? It's not fair, but we're all different. And I used to hate that. I used to get annoyed at her for that because that's not fair. That's not something, it's not her fault. It's not her fault she fucking loves Nutella. And it's not my fault that my body just can't process it. Plus, I don't like it, which I know is an unpopular opinion, but I just don't like Nutella. Don't mind it on a crepe. But still, I used to get so annoyed. I used to get so pissed off. And I just sit here now and I just think, why? You know? Why be like that towards people? It's just not nice. We are who we are, you know?
I like myself bare. Nothing else, just socks on. Ever felt naked whilst wearing all of your clothes? And I know that makes no sense. I understand that, but hear me out. When someone makes you feel uncomfortable on the train by staring a little too low or a little too long, or when you're out dancing and someone brushes up you where they weren't invited, or a friend calls you out for doing something you never should have done, or when your mum shouts your full name from the bottom of the stairs, that's what I think bare really is. That moment the heart jumps. Goosebumps from a good song, making someone you love smile, eating biscuits in bed and not caring about the crumbs, singing with your headphones in down the street, laughing so loud people stare. I like myself bare. Nothing else. Just socks on.
So there is something in my life that I just love and have always loved for such a long time, which is comfortability. I've always been, it's been one of the things in my life that's always been really, really key. And I'm a sweaty person. Now, I mean, I get hot. And when I do Big Girl, obviously I'm in the theatre. So I'm in my pyjamas. I'm normally wearing like a big jumper. I'm normally being cozy. But this time, obviously, I'm in my dress. And normally when I'm in the theatre, I take my top off. I chill with you guys. I'm chilling. And this is what I kind of like about the fact that I'm in my living room, is that I can just be sort of chill. That I can just sit here with views like this. And normally, like, obviously I take my top off, but I don't really feel the need to do that because I'm currently wearing like a dress that I wore to Pride. I'm really, really comfy. I'm having a good time. So yeah, I am sweating, but you know, I'm breezy. This is a summer motherfucking dress, honeys. But yeah, comfortability is something that I absolutely think is key. Just for life in general. The clothes I wear, how I am towards people. I hope I make other people feel comfortable. And it's something that I've always really, really treasured. I work in a restaurant and I worked with this guy, and I'm gonna say a term that might piss people off. They might get PTSD from it. People might get offended. People sometimes hear these words and they crawl into themselves. And the words that I'm about to say is rugby lad. The fucking boy that I worked with was a ruggers lad. He fucking loved it. He was the boy at uni who was like, boys, come with me, boys. Let's just like go peer at like all the girls in the changing rooms. Let's do it. I don't want to say his name because he was so posh. He was very, very privileged. I'm worried that one day he might see this. I doubt he will, but if he does, and I say his real name, he's going to get his family and they're going to sue me. So I'm going to think of a new name, and I'm going to call him, I'm trying to think of a name, and I'm sorry if this is anyone's name, Bernard. I'm going to call him Bernard. It's a posh name. It's not the same as his name. And yes, this is who he was. I'm going to call him Bernard. And we were working together, and it was me and Bernard had nothing in common. I tried, you know, I did everything I normally do when I meet a person. I ask them, you know, where they're from, you know, you get to know people. We're a quiet day at work, and I once asked him, like, oh, like, what do you like to do when you're not at uni? And he was like, oh, nothing much really. I like being with my boys and like fucking girls, really. And I was like, cool, right, okay then. And he was like, well, you like girls, so do you really, you like fucking them? And I was like, okay, cool. So, oh, you're asking me about that now. Great. And I just went, not quite like that. I have other things that I like to do, actually. Like, I write, and I write poetry, I perform. Yeah. I was awkward as fuck. So ever since then, I've had my back up about him. And I always believe that everyone has this like ball of fire in their chest that is passion and desire and the things they care about. And my ball of fire gets petrol thrown in it when I see someone being like shoved on the tube, or you know, there's like a pregnant woman who is clearly like not okay and someone doesn't let her sit down on the tube. Like I get and maybe the tube just pisses me off in general, but like, you know, I can't even think, like when you see videos on Facebook of like animal cruelty, that puts petrol in my fire, and it sits here and it like burns. And Bernard would like put fuel in my fire all the time, just constantly. He used to tell me how much money he had in his bank account, and I'd be like, why? I don't give a fuck. I literally would be like, sorry, are you trying, do you want me to rob you? Is that what this is? Do you want me to steal? Because no, I don't know. No. He was an odd man. And one day we were at work, and obviously working in a restaurant, we are with different people, we serve different people, and you try and be as inclusive as possible, just constantly. And we had a group of people come in, and they sat down, and I never saw them, and apparently they were on his tables, and he went over to the table and he was like, hello ladies, how are you all tonight? Are you okay? Because he would just speak to people like he was, I don't know, at a Justin Bieber concert, and he was Justin Bieber. And these people turned around and they were like, oh, we're really sorry, just to let you know that we're not ladies, we're not binary. And his little cogs in his head just couldn't cope with what these people have just said. And he got all flustered, and he walked upstairs and saw me. And he went over to me and he was like, I just had the fucking weirdest thing ever happen to me in the whole of my life. And I was like, oh, like, what? Like, tell me, I'm so intrigued. He was like, the weirdest fucking thing happened. Like, I was just serving these ladies, and they told me they weren't ladies, but they must be because they've got boobs, so they're ladies. I just want to let everyone know that it got me really angry. And the fuel, I was burning. The ignorance of it is just fucking stupid. But I know. I try my best to be like, because I know, like, some people don't get it. If you're not around it, maybe it's because I've been around different people. You know, I work in the performing arts. I'm open-minded. Some people aren't. And, you know, I see it, I recognise it, but come on, man, for fuck's sake. Like, oh God, it was just stupid. And I hate that these people, he must have made them feel so fucking uncomfortable. And I hate that. And because I know what it's like when so I grew up in Essex, and Essex is great. It's a good place. I love my hometown. And I think like most people who love their hometowns, you know, there is such like a bittersweet with it. And I think especially people who are in their hometown, maybe queer people, that move away and they go back to their hometown and they kind of realise a lot of things, you know, that weren't, and how much you were sort of caged there. And it's no one's fault. And, you know, family can be a part of that, and it's 1,000 different reasons. But Essex itself has its own culture. Essex is famous for so many different things. I'm trying to think now. So we've got Jamie Oliver, R.I.P. Jamie Oliver's Italian Kitchen, or whatever the fuck it's called. Loads of footballers in there, and then Nan's moved to Essex. Tiptree Jam, I told you I fucking love jam, and Tiptree Jam is amazing. Oh my God, do you know what? I might get a bit of jam out in a minute now. I won't. Obviously Gemma Collins, she's fucking great. Essex was voted 2019's sexiest accent. I know you're all watching your screens now like, yeah, she is well fit. She has a fitty. I know you're all thinking that about me. Remember this? I'm kidding, I'm joking. And so like Essex is great. and this isn't about Essex, this isn't me slagging it off. I'm so glad I'm from there. I'm proud. I'm not like Jessie J, who once said she didn't tell people she was from Essex. I'm from Essex, and I'll tell you that. I'm an Essex boy through and through. So Essex has its own codes and conventions, things that I was not aware of, and it's definitely something that when I went to uni and I moved away, I finally learnt about. And I met some friends that were from really, really far away. They were from Oxford. And I was like, come with me, come stay at mine, come stay in Essex with me, we'll have a good time. And we went to the pub. And when we were at the pub, I saw my mate's brother, Dan, and I was like, oh, you're right, Dan. He was like, yeah, you're a white girl. How's in life? You've been all white. And I was like, yeah, mate, yeah, I've been good. No, I wasn't. I was just like, yeah, I've been good. How are you? And he was like, yeah, I've been good. That was the kiss on the cheek. And I went, oh, good, I'm glad you're well. And like, we carried on with the conversation. When I sat down with my friends, they were looking at me like, okay, Emily, what the fuck was that? And I'd be like, what the fuck was what? And they were like, you don't do that. And I was like, what? Yeah, I do. They were like, I've never seen you kiss anyone in the cheek at uni. And I was like, oh my God. I'm just fitting into something that I've just been so used to, but even I do think it's a bit weird. You know, I felt a bit, you know, it was just a bit weird that I wasn't doing that at uni, but you know, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to kiss people on the cheek. I've decided. I'm not going to do it. I don't need to do it. And this is it. I was like, okay, right. So a couple of days later, I'm in Southend. You ever heard of Southend? Ever heard of it? It's well, I was in Southend and I was with me girls. We're having a good time. I love saying girls like this. We're at the Slug and Lettuce. We're having a party. We're having a nice little time. We're sitting in a little booth, you know, sitting in a booth, and we're all next to each other, all like sardines. You look so good. You look so good. No, you look like, oh, you look so. It was just like a whole thing of all of us going, you look good, no, you look good, no, you look good. And we were sitting there, and one of the boys that is in our friendship group that we all went to school with and everything, and he come over, and everyone was like, oh my God, Ryan, hi. And like everyone jumped up and like got up and gave Ryan a little kiss on the cheek, and I decided I'm going to stay here. There's two reasons. I was sticking to my guns, and I couldn't be bothered. I didn't want to fucking get up. I was comfy right in the middle. I would have had to like, you know that thing when you're on like a seat, you're like that's it. It would have been like around the seat, and I thought, no, can't be bothered. So I just went, hey Ryan, you all right? Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. And walked away. And my friend, she comes over to me. She sits herself down. She goes, you are so rude. And I was like, what? She was like, you, Emily, are so rude. You did not get up and say hello to Ryan. That is actually so rude. Like, his nan died 3 months ago and you didn't give him a kiss on the cheek. Like, what the fuck? And I was like, whoa. I said hello to Ryan. I didn't know his nan died. What? And she was like, I just think that's so rude. Like, everyone's been saying how much you've chatted. And I was like, here we go. Bollocks. So I was like, I'm getting drunk because I love these people, but I can't get lectured about kissing on the cheek. I'm being me. So after like, I think I must have had like 5, maybe like 7, maybe 12 drinks. I'm like 12 drinks down. So I'm a bit drunk, and I'm at the bar, and I'm standing at the bar, and I'm like waiting, like, you know, when you're waiting at the bar and you're like this, and you're like, yeah, and you've got your card in your hand and you're ready. And one of our friends, who's also in the same friendship group as Ryan, his name's Chris, he comes over and he was like, oh, you're all right, Em, how you been? And I was like, yeah, you're all right, Chris, I'm good. He was like, oh, good, as uni. And I was like, yeah, it's really great. And I thought in my head, shit, I cannot remember what Chris does. And I know this because last time I saw him at Christmas, we had a fucking full-blown conversation. That was the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. My teeth got caught on my lip. That was the whip. I'll get a little drink in a minute. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing that no. I love it when I get myself like this. Normally, when this happens to me, people laugh. But I'm now in my room on my own, so I'm just, now I feel like I feel silly. When I saw Chris, we had a full-blown conversation about it, and I just couldn't remember what he did. And I thought in my head, I was like, Chris, there's 3 things that men in Essex do, and it is 1, electrician, 2, labourer, 3, something to do with insurance in London. They work in the city. I work up city. That's the line. I work up city. It's insurance, getting tea for someone, I'm not too sure. And I looked at Chris and I thought to myself, Chris, my name's Emily E. Stab in the motherfucking dark. I said, electricianing now, is that Chris? And he said, electricianing is fantastic. And I knew then that I was the elite person of the world. And I was like, yes, I remembered. And Chris was like, yeah, electricianing's all right, yeah, we're having this good old convo. And then he turns to me and he says, Emily, you know Ryan, I've heard you've got a little problem with him. And I was like, here we go. Here it goes. And I was like, look, listen to me, Chris. So bearing in mind, I'm 12 drinks down. I'm like, look, listen to me, Chris, okay? There's no problem here. There's nothing. The thing is, I'm just not kissing anyone on the cheek. He's not my nan. It's not Christmas. And he was like, what are you bringing up nans for? And I was like, here we go. We're now having a row, all right? And I look at my mates behind me, and they're sipping their drinks with looks on their faces of, I'm not helping you, hun. I'm done. You're done. And I look at the boys on the other side, and they're all standing there like ready for a fight. And it was like the fucking scene out of Narnia, the one with Prince Caspian, where they're about to like collide. And I was like, fuck this, fuck it, I'm going home.
I'm so sorry. I'm so self-centered. I've only spoken about me, and I have not commented on Liberty, the woman that the Americans always speak of, which is ironic for this current time. A woman once told me it's okay to change your mind, so let's talk about women. I grew up around them, women of all, women from places I've never seen before, but I understand the lack in social mobility. As I grew, I came to understand the struggles in this world of what people like me have to adapt to. The women that look like me, the similarities we have, or the women that don't look like me. The women that the world sometimes doesn't want to see, and that fucking irritates me. No one turned off the light, you just closed your eyes. It's okay. Have a rest, but wake up fully charged, because it's okay to change your mind.
So when I first went to university, it was when I realised that I was working class. I never ever knew that I was working class, just because I was around people that were working class. I grew up in a working class town, in a working class part of Essex, so it was never... it was something that never came to my head. I was around working class people and who came from working class families. And on my first day of university, I had a lecturer say to me, oh, you're a true working class woman, you are. And I was like, thank you, thanks. And I was so nervous. Oh, it made me so nervous. When I think about it now, I get so angry with myself because I'm like, why did I reply like that? I was just like, cool, thanks. I didn't know what it meant. I went home and I Googled it, and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And it didn't even offend me, but I was just like, why did he say that to me and not say that to anyone else? And, And I just found it weird. And I always find like male authority odd, because my dad passed away when I was like 2, and I grew up with just me and my mum and my nan and my granddad. But my granddad's a very, very placid man. He didn't really say much, bless his soul. My nan was the trousers, the blazer, the shoes, the socks, the hat of their relationship. And she's the juggernaut. And men, just in general, I never saw them as powerful or as anything, but I was I was a bit scared. And when I went to secondary school, because my primary school had no male teachers, I went to secondary school, and I was told off by a man for the first time. And it was a teacher of history. And we were in history, and I was sharpening my pencil at the bin, and I put the sharpening on my friend's head. And this teacher, he was a nice guy, but he was loud. And we were in the class, and I was like, okay, I'm going to put the sharpenings on the head, you know, trying to be funny. And as I do it, all I hear from the other side of the room is this man being like, Emily, Jane, Rudy, what are you doing? Come in, no! That's what it felt like. It wasn't as dramatic as that. And I honestly turned around and I was like, oh my fucking God. And I walked over to him and I was so confused. I was like, do I find this man sexy? Am I uncomfortable? Am I gonna cry? Am I gonna shit myself? And I walked over there and I just looked him in the eye and he was like, what were you doing? And I said, I don't know. And I farted. It was so fucking embarrassing. Like when I think about it now, I'm like, and I was, it was just, ugh. So I never had good things with just male teachers or male people in power, and you know, maybe that's why I don't like Trump, and I'm just like, you know, there's more reasons why I don't like Trump, but still, it was just so awkward because the women in my life were just so, like, obviously my mum, I respected her, and my nan is scary as fuck. And even now, to this day, right, I'll go around my nan's house and she does this thing where she always, like, looks behind me and she goes, no man following you then? And I'm like, no, Nan, no, just me. And I think in my head, you wait till I tell you that I am gay, mother. I'm a queer woman. And I'm like, yeah. I just called her mum. I just called my nan mum. Wow. This is going great. I'm doing really good, guys. This is fantastic. And I look at my nan and I'm always like, oh, you all right, Nan? And she's like, yeah, I'm all right, darling. And she goes, what are those? What are those on your feet? And I'm wearing a beautiful, beautiful pair of trainers. Absolutely fantastic. I'm looking at myself in them. I'm wearing a pair of Air Force, but they're like a 90-something edition. They've got gold on them. I'm feeling myself. They're fucking expensive. And she's like, do you know why you don't have an husband? It's because you don't wear a proper shoe. And I'm like, what kind of shoe would you like me to wear, Nan? What kind of shoe are we thinking of it? She's like, I tell ya, you can wear a good boot. A good boot. Right, okay, a good boot. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, Nan. All right, whatever. And she's scary as fuck, so I don't fight her. I don't fight her on it. And there's many stories, and I have the best one of her is this one time we were in Sainsbury's and it was Christmas and we'd already been to Tesco's, and my nan doesn't fuck with she doesn't fuck with Asda because she says that Asda is it's not good enough for her. I don't know what made her think that. I fucking love Asda. She has a tier of what supermarkets are good. It's like, you know, Lidl and Aldi are at the bottom, then she's got like Asda, and then it's Morrison's, then Tesco's, then Sainsbury's. But for me, it's completely the other way around, right? I'm telling you, Lidl at the top. Lidl's at game, right? Maybe it's because I'm poor and my nan's not exactly rich, but you know, she thinks she's living the high life. Oh, I forgot Marks and Sparks. She loves Marks and Spencer's. Yeah, and so we'd been to Tesco's and she was pissed off because it was around Christmas and she needed stuff in, and we're in Sainsbury's and she didn't want to go to Sainsbury's. She knew it was a bit expensive, so she's pissed off. And she walks into Sainsbury's. She's like, right, let's go find this fucking stuff in. And she's raging. And she scares the fuck out of me anyway. Look, my leg's shaking when I talk about it because like I'm like, hee. And we were in Sainsbury's and we're looking for the stuff in. And as she's got to the stuff in, right, another woman has also grabbed the last box. And I was like, oh, in my head I'm thinking, oh, come on, that didn't need to happen. It could have been easy. It could have just been what it should have been. It should have got the packet. We should have gone home. And she, as the woman has like grabbed the packet, my nan has like grabbed my arm, right? And she's squeezing it so hard. And I'm like, no. I've got to say, I'm like 11 years old. I forgot to say that. I'm like young. Like, I'm not my age now. I'm not my age now. Like, no. Now I'll be like, get off me, woman. And she was like holding my arm and she just looked me in the eye. Right, I'm gonna get up close and personal. She looked me in the eye and she looked at me with this, like, you know, in sharks, they smell blood and their eyes go really big. She looked at me and she said, run. And I was like, okay. And I ran after this woman, right? And I'm like running after her and this woman's looking at me. She could see it. And I'm like, hi. And I'm like following her. And then I literally, not even fucking joking, right? My nan runs straight past me, goes into the woman's trolley, grabs the fucking stuff in, runs, honestly, that way. I'm running after her and I'm like, Nan! At this point, I'm crying because I've been bleeding. You know, I was scared. It's all high temper. That woman was sad. And I was like, Nan! And I'm like running. I go near the tills. She's there. She shoved £5 in this young boy's face. My granddad is already outside with the car doors open. He's like, get in! And I'm like, oh my God. My nan jumps in. I jump in the back. I'm crying. I'm sweating. My nan is hysterically laughing. Like fucking laughing her head off like no fucking tomorrow. And I'm like, Nan, why would you do that? And she went, shut up! Get a fucking grip. And I was like, okay. And then after a little while, she was laughing still, obviously cackling at the front. Like, meh, meh. And she went, oh, do you know what? I think that was Karen from Knitting Club. I hope she doesn't recognise me. And I was like, you looked her in the eye, woman, and you said, fuck you, as you ran with this stuff in. And I'm like, how is this woman? That woman knows it's you. And that is how nuts she is. And I just think that she's the way she is because she just grew up in a different time. It was a different time. My nan is this true working class woman, and she just didn't. She gave up so much, and she had kids. So by the time my nan was my age, she had 3 children and a house and a husband and 2 jobs. And I think about where I am now, and I'm just living in London. I'm trying to do my best. And I just think it's so different. And I completely understand why she doesn't understand me. And it's been at least, I think there's 60 years apart between me and my nan. 60 something years apart, me and my nan. And the world is so fucking different now. And it scares me. It scares me to think that I'm going to one day be older and my grandchildren are going to be having a different experience to me. And it's just insane.
The good times came at night, when the rooms are dark, the floors are sticky and no one can see your eyes. That's how I liked it. Songs on, no words, just beats. Thumping sounds, better than your mother's voice asking what you're doing with your life. Don't waste that talent. She means 3 years training, feet aching, 50 grand debt of talent. It's hard to please the unfulfilled, living through your life. Don't let me down, no pressure. But pressure's what they want us to see. Pressure's what they want us to be. Where's your house, your lover, your baby? Not here. But she is. They are. The ones that understand, the 12-hour shifts just hunting for the dream. It's just a pit stop, they said, but 5 months went so fast. Will it turn into 5 years? Because I need my thing. I like small coffee shops and hot baths, boring stuff that the young ones shouldn't love. I like laying in a warm bed next to her, sunlit rooms with hanging plants, tomato-scented candles and kisses, vegan burgers with friends, and lots of cheese. And it's ironic because there is lots of cheese, mostly cheddar. I also like Edam. Yeah, I do like Edam.
So yeah, so I like to think about how different it is from 60 years ago, and I think about me now. I'm 20 I can't remember how old I am. I'm 23 years old. I'm gonna get up off the floor because I'm 23 years old, my fragile bones. Yes, I'm 23 years old. I graduated from uni literally a year ago, like in a few days. And what have I done since then? I moved to London. Nice. I've spent so much money. And that's the one thing that I think is so different and so scary about being a real adult is money. It's so annoying. It's like the thing. And I suck at being an adult. Like, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, I suck. I do suck. I do. I don't have a doctor's. I need a doctor's. I just haven't got round to it. And I got really, really ill in October to the point where I was like I was laying in bed and I was like sweating. Like, I was so ill. And I was in bed and I'm like just laying there and I'm like, oh, I need a doctor. I need to go to the doctor's because the thing is now, if I don't work, I don't get money, and then I can't pay my rent, and there's certain things that I can't do in my life, and so I need to work. And I was off work and I'm ringing up clinics and I'm ringing up all these people and I couldn't get anywhere to go because my doctor's is still in Plymouth. So I could have got a 4-hour train to Plymouth and back, but instead I decided to go to a private doctor because there was no other way around it. And I was like, okay, I need to go. So I went and paid £50. £50 for this doctor, right? And it was in the middle of like central London somewhere. I've never paid for healthcare in my life and I'm so grateful and happy for that. But I also think about the people that have to pay and then would have to pay, and I think about when they talk about abolishing the NHS, they're not going to do it now because obviously coronavirus has changed their minds. It's got bloody Tories clapping for the NHS and it gets me very angry, but that is something we are not going to talk about. Yes, not today, because no negative energy. And it's gone. That's gone for a while. Till I see another Instagram post or another tweet or the news and I'll get angry again. But yeah, so I paid £50 for this doctor's. It's in central London and me and my girlfriend go there, and it is like, have you ever watched The Apprentice? And you know where Lord Sugar walks up and it's like the do, and this is like The Apprentice, right? And we walked in, it's got a glass elevator, we're in there, I'm ill, I'm sweating, I'm not having a good time, but we are having a day out. This was like, there was a man at the front door like, hello, how are you? Who are you here to see? And I was like, I'm here for the doctors. And he was like, up to this floor, young one. And we got in the lift, in the glass, we're taking pictures, it's like we're having a holiday, we're having a good time, and we get up there, right, and I'm used to, I don't know if anyone else is used to their local doctor's surgery, which is in like a house in the middle of like a road, and it's got like plastic chairs you use for gardens, and it's got like the kids corner, which is like older than when I was a kid, toys in there, like 40 years old. It's got like sick all over it, and like you're sitting in there and there's like an old lady coughing and like an old pregnant woman sitting in the corner having a fag. No, I'm joking. And I walk into this one and it is like crushed velvet seats, and like there's magazines like ID and like Dazed in there, and I'm sitting there and it's this most beautiful view of London, like that people pay for in hotels, and we're sitting there like, okay, and I'm sweating profusely and I'm sitting there like, oh my Christ. And this doctor comes out and she looks stunning. She's wearing like a knee-high white bootie. She is like got this long hair, she's wearing like emerald green jumper, and she's like, hello, is Emily Rooney here? I'm instantly in love with her. I fall in love with a woman. I'm with my girlfriend, but I'm still like, we are in love with this woman now, aren't we? Yes, we are. And I'm used to Dr. Devaraja, this little man who wears like school shirts, and he wears like kickers still, and he walks out and he's like, sorry, I've forgotten the name. And he goes over to the woman and goes, who am I need to call? And she goes, Emily Rooney! Emily Jane Rooney! Yeah, could go with the doctor, please. So that's what I'm used to. This is what I'm used to. But I'm now with this woman like summoning me to heaven. She's like, are you ready to die, darling? Come with me. Come with me. And I walk into her office and she literally tells me I've got the flu and it's nothing. And she gives me some pills and she gives me a doctor's note from work. And I'm like, great, this is all great, brilliant. But I'm not an adult because I wasted 50 quid. Because Dr. Dev would have told me the exact same thing. And I wouldn't have been out of pocket. And I think about that £50 and I was like, that was food, or that was, you know, money for my bills, money that I don't have to worry about. And it's just so scary. And I like look back at everything that I've done and where I've come and who I am as a woman and a person, and, you know, this strong, independent woman that loves being fat and does loads of different things. And I look back at it and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm here. And I get so worried about the future. And obviously in this sort of time that we're in now, it's scary and we're all really, really scared. And I don't know what's going to happen and no one else does. But it's just so scary. Like, I cry all the time. Like, I don't know about anyone else. Like, since coronavirus has happened, I also fucking cry all the time. But before this, I used to cry. And this one day, I was in the shower. And especially, I think, if you do theatre, if you do stuff like that, it's just so unstable. And I was in the shower. And, well, before I was in the shower, I was crying to my girlfriend about it. And then I made her follow me into the shower, and the shower curtain was here, and I was washing my hair, and I was like, it's just, my life is just, please still love me, please, I'm sorry that I'm crazy, and I just don't know what to do in my life. And I'm like, well, she's watching me shower, and she's just like, what the fuck? And I'm like crying in the shower, my tears aren't real because they're washing away. And I was so sad, and I'm like, don't think anyone prepares you for what life is going to be like. And I get so worried. But I also know it's going to be all right. Like, it's going to be okay. And, oh, fuck me. Like, I do not know where I'm going, but I just hope it's fucking nice. Because this is just something that, like, what I'm doing now, I want to do this forever. Until, well, in a theatre would be nice. And, yeah, it's just such a confusing time. But I hope everyone's all right. And I hope everyone's okay. And I hope that you're sitting in your pajamas right now and you're having a good time. And after this, I'm going to have a nice walk. And I'm going to have a nice bit of dinner. And yeah, I just, honestly, I hope this was all right for everyone. And I wish I could be with you in another situation. And we could all be in a room. And we can get annoyed at the person who's rustling their crisps. And that's what I wish we could be doing right now. And I hope everyone's okay. And because I'm all right, you know. I may moan and I complain, but I'm happy and I'm eating good. So, you know, thank you guys for watching this. It's honestly been, I'm so happy that I can do this for everyone. And yeah, I just hope you're all right and having a good time and staying safe and FaceTiming your loved ones and the people you love and talking and just being fantastic, because you are amazing. And thank you so much for watching this and being here, and you're all fucking amazing. And like I just said, I don't know where I'm going, but I just hope it's fucking nice. Thank you so much for watching this. I am Emily Jane Rooney, and you have just watched Big Girl Sofa Edition.